Here we have a list of the essential elements of a golf swing that we aim to permanently implement into our learners' habits as means of bettering their current golf swing prior to learning this program. This includes positions such as knees being slightly flexed prior to backswinging. There should be a thorax and thorax-pelvis axial rotation at the top of the backswing. Some wrist torque and range of motion during the downswing should be present. And finally, your eyes should continue to follow the ball during the follow-through, just to mention a few. This is a great opportunity for you, the viewer, to pause and analyze the techniques and positions mentioned in order to gain an inside knowledge of a golf swing. A skilled individual in the game of golf is someone who, firstly, is an individual who consistently hits the ball with minimal error at a given time. Secondly, is an individual who implements the positions and techniques mentioned in the previous slide. Next, the individual is able to cater effectively to environmental constraints such as wind, sand, distance, obstructions, etc. The individual is also able to rapidly and sequentially stretch the hip, trunk, and upper limb muscles during the backswing, allowing greater muscular forces and torques to be produced. Lastly, the skilled individual is able to achieve the goal of getting the ball in the hole in a limited amount of strokes, making him skilled at the task at hand. We as a group have concluded that a golf swing in a normal game is considered a 2B classification on the Gentile taxonomy table. The reason why we have concluded this is because of the following. Unless you're Happy Gilmore and love a bit of a run-up, there tends to be a lack of movement in the individual during the swing. Secondly, in a normal game of golf, the swing outcome may vary dependent on several factors such as wind, distance, location of environment, etc. This is why there is an inter-trial variability. Next, the individual remains stable during the actual golf swing and a change of position does not occur. Lastly, there is a golf club manipulation used to hit the golf ball. Although this is the case in the normal game of golf, at a driving range where there is no inter-trial variability, the classification will change from a 2B to a 1B. Here we have some strategies used to measure the participant's level of performance in learning. Measuring performance includes tools such as high-speed videoing for amateurs as well as force plate usage for professional golfers, just to mention a few. Both measuring tools are used to distinguish the individual's shot accuracy, club head velocity, technique, etc. For our amateur participant, the high-speed videoing will be taken during the 5th set of each training day, as well as him also receiving real-time technique analysis from his coach in every set. Last, we will be implementing a skill retention test as well as a learner transfer test, which will include assessing the individual's level of learning 6 months post-training using goal and target practice. Next, we will assess how our participant transfers the techniques and motor control principles learned from golf to the sport of tennis, which is similar in technique and action. At the early stages of learning the sport of golf, an individual should experience the following. The participant would most likely miss the ball several times due to a lack of quality coordination. There will mainly be mistakes in the positioning/overall technique of the participant. There will be an increase in the variability of ball placement post-hit. There will be a decreased trunk and hip axial rotation during the backswing phase. There will be an insufficient follow-through of the club, limiting the maximum torque. And lastly, we would witness the increased participant frustration during the training sessions. This is relative to the first stage of Fit and Pot's 3-stage model of learning, where the participant is trying to understand a skill. In this stage, the learner forms a cognitive picture of the skill and what is required to do it. It involves movements that are poorly timed, bumpy, and hesitant to say the least. Our learner's past and present experiences that may or may not assist in his golf swing includes heading to driving ranges with friends, playing golf for fun with his dad, and being a tennis player as his past experiences. As well as this, the participant is also involved in weightlifting and performs morning stretches as his current experiences. The relevancy of these experiences differ and includes driving range/playing golf for fun, providing some idea of what the task is like so they would have some understanding of the sport, described by Fit and Pot's model. Gym creates more strength, alternately making more velocity. Stretching allows for greater flexibility and axial rotation during the back and downswinging phases. And lastly, tennis implements similar notions, including a backswing and forward swing, and also involves trunk muscle rotation, which we could use to describe the technique needed. During the 4-week program, we should witness similar progress aspects of Fit and Pot's 3 stages of learning. This includes an initial fast-track learning in the first week, refining of the golf swing in weeks 2 and 3, and lastly becoming autonomous in action without needing to think about the techniques used. Motivational-wise, having someone with the same age and height as the learner performing the skill will encourage the learner to believe that they can perform the task also. Conjunctively, setting up small competition with other beginnings will give the learners a reason to work hard and stay motivated.
In the beginning of the learning phase, demonstrations of the skill should be given to allow the learner to observe the details and timing of the skill. The person demonstrating the skill will be a person with experience and knowledge of the sport. This gives the learner the best quality of data to work with. In the beginning of the session, the learner is told to stand and shoulder width apart, grip the club, and swing the club. The use of precise language is short and easy to understand, which is not overwhelming for the learner. Attention should be directed at the ball. To do this, we use verbal cues such as eyes on the ball. The focus of attention should be internal as it allows the learner to be focused on one objective, which is the movement of the body. The top-down approach is most suitable for beginners, which allows the learners to learn on their own. Mimicking an expert's demonstration gives the learner a fundamental understanding and serves as template for detecting errors. This is depicted in the picture below in the right-hand corner. And in the picture below in the left-hand corner is the learner executing the skill. Types of errors that occurred were execution errors, individual and environmental constraint errors. We recorded the learner as below to observe their technique and analyze the errors. Common errors that occurred were missing the ball, tight and wrong grip, swinging too hard, and lack of full shoulder or hip turn. The golf swing is warranted. Terminal feedback is feedback given after the execution of skill to prevent the learner's mental focus from being broken. This led to less errors and an improved performance. Qualitative feedback is also given to help the learner understand the reasonings and facts behind the errors they made. The in-depth explanation will give the learner a better understanding of the skill, which is important in skill acquisition. For example, you missed the ball because you did not aim. The ball did not go straight because you did not turn your shoulders. Bandwidth feedback sets an acceptable range of error. This allows the trainee to attempt to fix their mistakes on their own. Once the learner overreaches the accepted range of errors, that is when the feedback will be provided. Asking the trainees questions can also help the effectiveness of feedback. For example, how did the swing feel? The learner replies, it feels stiff. The follow-up feedback can include solutions such as loosen your shoulders, hips, and grip. The golf swing is warranted as a whole practice because it involves only one single motion, which is not overwhelming for the learner as he also had past experiences in golf and tennis at a young age. The simplification method is useful as it reduces the complex aspect of the skill, which makes it easier for the learner to learn and also improve in their weak areas. A great way to implement this method is using the indoor golf game simulator. Mental practice or imagery can also be used right before the execution of the movement. The type of mental practice chosen is the external visual imagery. The description given to the learner was visualize yourself creating a circle of fire around your body with a golf swing. This is depicted in the picture in the right-hand corner. Here in week 3, we have seen some big improvements in the technique. The beginner athlete will train 3 days per week, and within each day they will perform 25 repetitions. The distribution practice method involves shorter sessions and higher frequency. This will allow the learner to have more time to recover and have better memory consolidation. 75 repetitions per week will be enough to see some improvements. For a beginner, it's best to keep everything the same to allow the learner to focus on one objective at a time, whereas altering the environment or task will make it difficult for the trainee to focus as there are too many variables. Practice variability in the program were regulatory conditions, such as changing the distance of the goal or location of the ball. Non-regulatory conditions that will occur is the weather change, such as being cloudy, sunny, windy, or rain. This will challenge how hard the learner needs to hit and how much mental focus they need to put in. There are 3 skills in golf, which is the drive shot, approach shot, and the putt shot. In skill scheduling, they are arranged from blocked, serial, and random. Blocked focus on one main movement, more focus on mastering the skill. Serial mimics the gameplay, and random focus on all 3 movements in random order to challenge the learner.